Aloha, friends and neighbors from the beautiful landlocked island of Austin, Texas. So today I want to take a little interesting twist and talk to you about accessories and Hondas. There's a lot of do's and don'ts and a lot of tips and tricks that you may not know, and I'm going to go over them. So let's talk about the CRV behind me and some of the accessories you can get. Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about specifically the CRV and accessories, and I want to focus on probably what's the most commonly purchased item for a CRV, which would be floor mats, right? Typically followed behind that would be side body molding for the side so nobody hits it with like a door, and then probably a roof rack. But today I'm going to focus on all-season floor mats just because, let's be honest, it's probably the most commonly purchased item. Now, when it comes to purchasing an item like this, you can purchase it through the dealer and get that Honda OEM part that you know will fit, that comes with a warranty, right? And if there's installation, they can roll that into the payment if you're buying it at the time of your purchase. Now, if you're purchasing something and including it in your purchase, let's say like a side body molding or parking sensors or something electronic or something that has the opportunity to malfunction, defect, or break, I would argue that sometimes there is a benefit to going through the actual dealership. And the reason being is that it now is covered by your warranty. So if I bought body side molding and they ended up falling off the car, it would be covered by that 3 or 36,000 mile warranty that I have on the vehicle. Same thing with parking sensors or anything else electronic that I may add. So something that I may not want to add myself just because it may be a little bit more work than I necessarily want to put in, there is a plus to doing that through the dealership. When it comes to a floor mat though, I would tell you, you could save yourself money because what's going to happen is if I roll it into my payments, right? Like I say, hey, I'm going to buy the car, include the mats, right? They're going to charge me not only for the floor mats, but it's also going to be charged to install the item. That's any accessory, floor mats included. Meaning that I could have got up, walked around the corner during my purchase, bought that same set of floor mats from the parts department and paid less money for them, and then installed them myself. Not a lot of people know that, so that's just kind of one tip or trick you can take advantage of. Now, the other thing that you're probably thinking is, well, Justin, maybe I don't want, the OEM part. Maybe I want to go aftermarket. Now, probably one of the biggest names in the game for aftermarket is going to be WeatherTech, right? So typically you're thinking, I'm probably going to either get the ones at Honda, depending on the cost, or I'll just get WeatherTech after the fact and wait for them to ship them out to me. Now, I was asked by ECARZO, which is C-A-R-Z-O, if I would review their formats. Now, in relation to the three, because that's the three comparisons I'm going to make today, is theirs, of course WeatherTech, and then of course Honda's. Now, Hondas and WeatherTechs both offer the ability to lock them into place, which ECARZO does too, and I'm going to show you in just a second. They're all laser cut. And then they're produced with recycled plastics, right? So they are a little bit better for the environment. Now, I want to talk to you about this just because I want you to know that there's other options out there that are available to you. This one specifically you can buy through Amazon, so it's nice that I can get that next day shipping, so I don't have to wait a week for them to show up. So maybe if you're going through WeatherTech or somebody, or if you're trying to order them from Honda, you may have to wait. Now, the other part to that is that if I'm buying them specifically from a Honda dealership, you can't order them online really from Honda like direct anymore like you used to about 5 to 10 years ago. So now you're buying them through the dealership, and every dealership is going to have them priced differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the local dealership that I'm here at. I'm going to throw their pricing up on the screen just so you can get an idea, right? So this will get you in the ballpark. And then of course what I'm also going to do is I'm going to throw up WeatherTech's pricing. Now when it comes to WeatherTech, I will remind you that they have essentially 3 setups for this car. The CRV, and that's all trim levels. They have just a basic floor mat that doesn't have kind of a, it locks into place, I believe, but it doesn't have any kind of the sidewall coverings. And then they have a next step up, and then they have the, I guess you would call it the highest performance version, right? So you're looking at roughly, I want to say it's $99, and then it jumps up to, I think, like $179, and then it goes to $199. And then I want to talk about ECARZO. So these guys sent them out to me and asked me, hey, would you review these and just kind of say what you think? So I will do just that. As far as putting them in the car, I was able to slide them in, right? Installation is no big deal. Anyone can install a floor mat. They do have the locking deals in the front, so you won't have to worry about sliding up and down, and I'll show you that here, like I said, in just a second. So it's really a good competitor out there in the market, and as far as like being laser cut, it fits the bill. As far as, being made of recycled materials, if you care about the environment, absolutely, it's doing that. And the only other argument I would typically hear it would be related to warranties as far as buying accessories, but let's be honest, this is a floor mat. I don't really know that warranties apply, and most of the warranties on something like a floor mat through WeatherTech or maybe through Honda would be for defects, which, let's be honest, if there's a defect and it doesn't fit in the car, you're probably just gonna return it anyways. So let's take a look at these and see what you think. All right, guys, so when it comes to the driver's side, probably the most important thing related to this is gonna be right here, and it's such a simple thing, but they've added it in, right? And what this is this is the locking deal. So you can turn both of these, and this allows you to take it out, but it also allows it to lock into place. So if you're ever gonna buy floor mats for any Honda or any car in general, I highly recommend you have these, because if not, every time you put your heel down to touch that gas or that brake, you're gonna slide this this forward and it's gonna slide all over the place. Anybody who's ever bought generic floor mats knows exactly what I'm talking about. So this is kind of clutch when it comes to the driver's side. And then of course you can see that they do run the high wall up here, which I really like, because if you're dragging your feet in and across, typically this piece right here will get super dirty. So it does have protection there and there. And then of course you do have it where your foot would normally rest in the behind your pedals. So let's jump over to the passenger side. All right, now on your passenger side, same kind of setup. You've got this nice side high wall on the side here, and then over here with a small lip that you can see where you can touch. And then of course it does run up behind. Now it does have some grit here to where I guess you could kind of rust your feet off. I would argue that this could be a positive or a negative as far as scraping and getting stuff out from my shoes, but also that it means it's now gonna be stuck in the floor mat. So that's kind of a positive and a negative at the exact same time. Now on this other side, you'll just notice they have tabs here because you don't have the spots to actually lock them into place on this side, but typically it'll hold it because you're not sliding your feet around using the pedals, and it's not gonna move this around as much, so you should be good to go. So as far as the laser cut fit, it actually fits quite well and does well as far as the passenger side. So let's hop into the back seat and talk about that. All right, now as we move into the back seat, I typically am very surprised by these because a lot of times, even some of the Honda ones are kind of wonky and they don't necessarily fit over this lip right here, and these actually fit really well. So ECARZO, kudos to you, man. Thumbs up. I'm impressed because typically I see it get kind of wonky right in this center section because there's a small lip. Now, as far as these, it does slide in, gives you that nice wall here, and then it does wrap all the way under the seat, so you're not, cutting yourself off right here. And then, of course, you can see over to the other side, same thing. So, as far as, coverage, you're doing great. You're covering your center, you're covering your seats. Same thing, it doesn't have the lock-in tabs just because they're not available to you, but if you want to get them out, you can pull them out, wash them off, and throw them back in there. And then they do have this grit to them, so if you're trying to, brush your feet off, you absolutely can. But the only catch to that is that you may get stuff caught up in there. But like I said, I guess you could pull them out, wash them off, just like any other all-season floor mat. All right, guys, so to quickly wrap it up on the floor mats, I would arguably say that ECARZO has made a mat that is just as good, if not better, than what's out there on the market. So when you're comparing it to a Honda OEM part, or if you're comparing it to WeatherTech, who's probably the second biggest thing in the game, is known for, their aftermarket parts related to floor mats specifically. Now, if you're looking for a different color, maybe you're looking for a tan or a gray, they only offer these in black, so something to be aware of, but I don't know that you necessarily want a different color anyway. Honda only offers them in black, so WeatherTech would be the option if you want to go for those other colors. So once again, I'm just going to revisit this. I'm going to throw back up on the screen what you would typically pay to a Honda dealership. Specifically, I'm going with my local dealership, but know that those prices can vary because each dealership has the opportunity to sell those for whatever price they want so they can make a little bit of profit off them. And then secondarily, I'm going to throw what the WeatherTech options are up there. Now, they do have those three options, as I mentioned. So there's kind of a base model, there's a secondary model, and then there's that third model with the higher walls. There's going to be probably more familiar in like what I just showed you. So that you can get an idea for where those typically live. And then the ECARZO ones I'm going to throw up here on the screen too. If you're interested in these floor mats, I'm actually going to put an affiliate link down in the description. So you can use that link to purchase them, and obviously it would benefit me and of course the company itself, so just be aware of that. But other than that, I think it's a great product. It works for exactly what it's supposed to do, and it fits in the CRV quite well. Other than that, hopefully that helps you out as far as floor mats goes related to the CRV. If you have any questions, feel free to holler at me. I'm more than happy to answer questions about cars, accessories, and pretty much anything else. So other than that, do me a quick favor, hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't like it, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you did like it, maybe you'll leave me a comment there too. Maybe you know of another brand that I should know about. I don't know. You tell me. Secondarily, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Let me tell you about Hondas. Let me tell you my tips and tricks on how to save money instead of buying it included in that car purchase and walking around the corner to parts and getting it for cheaper. Things like that. I know a couple things. I promise. Other than that, I just want to say thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Later!